Hello, everyone, and welcome to An Hour with Dave, a straight shooting talk show that doesn't hold anything back. You either love the show, hate the show, love me, hate me, doesn't matter, but it's the show you want to watch. An Hour with Dave. Part of what I introduce or what I say when I have a guest on is the opinions of the guest and myself, not that of social media. You hate me, you hate me. You love me, you love me. It really doesn't make me a difference. I'd rather you like me, but you could hate me too. It doesn't faze me one bit because I'm going to say what I got to say anyway. All right. So with that said, let's get started. The first thing that people ask me for, what's actually happened, because there's a lot of confusion with this COVID-19 and the Delta part of it, and how the Delta become all of a sudden part of it, and what's happening with the vaccines. Well, first things first, a lot of people have a lot of opinions. Okay, like myself, a lot of people that have a lot of opinions are not doctors. They're not scientists. They don't have a degree. You may have some people that say if you eat eggshells, it's going to kill COVID. But good luck if you eat the eggshells. All right? You may have people that say go to Puerto Rico and you jump in the water backwards and it gets rid of all your bad luck. Well, hopefully when you jump in the water backwards, you don't get caught in an undercurrent and we never see you again. Here's what you need to do. The CDC and the World Health Organization puts out information. How do I feel about it? I feel that it's confusion because sometimes they tell you a mask, sometimes they'll tell you not a mask. Then they were telling you information like they put out this information on numbers, and the information that they put out for statistics was information from India. In reality, if you watched interviews with the head of the CDC, they explained it and it made a lot of sense. The problem is that when you're trying to look for the information and you're trying to understand it, if you get a lot of people speaking in your ear and telling you different things, it's going to confuse you. And regrettably, politics played a role in everything you're hearing. Because some stuff they want you to hear, you know, everybody who's a Democrat wants Biden to be the God that's walking on water. Okay, well, I got news for you. If it's deep enough, he trips going up steps, the chances are he's going to fall on his ass when he's walking on water. And if it's more than an inch, be careful, he might drown. Because there should be a social distances, so his bodyguard shouldn't be rushing to pick him up. They remember social distances, bodyguards. But getting back to what I wanted to say, okay? The CDC and they put out this information. It wasn't information that the CDC wanted to put out just like that. It got put out and it was covered, and it was saying that they gave statistics from that was actually some medication, something that wasn't approved here, that was approved in India, and people were still getting sick and people were still dying. And all they were doing was trying to gather numbers not only here, but worldwide, so they could kind of get a play for what was going on. The lady from the CDC, the head of CDC, she wasn't trying to bullshit you or give you bad information. You know, it's just that the media, the local media, okay? You got the clowns at CBS. You got the clowns at what is it? MSNBC. You got what's the other? CNN. I mean, come on, CNN. Okay, Nickelodeon got more people watching it than CNN. Okay, that should tell you something when Nickelodeon has more people watching it than CNN. All right, they stumble over things. If you listen to all these channels and these news medias and all these broadcast lines, listen to them. It's like they all sit at the same donut place, okay, and have a donut and say how they're gonna give this information out. And if you listen to them, they may change or the or is somewhere along the line, but everything else is exactly the same. Every word is exactly the same. Okay? All they're trying to do is spew misinformation. Okay? What needs to happen is you go to your doctors. All right? And you say to your doctor, I need to get this vaccine. The doctor will say to you, oh, okay, and have you had it yet? No, I haven't. If I am high risk, I have a heart condition, I have diabetes, I'm overweight, I ate too many pork chops, and I know I shouldn't be eating half a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, whatever. Okay? But you're overweight, you're fat, just like me. Okay? Let's get it right. You left the six-pack and you're working on a beautiful keg, just like me. Now, here's what happens. You go to the doctors. They say, well, doc, I guess I should. You think I should take the vaccine? He or she will say, yes, I do, whether you're high risk or not. And if you're on 15, 20 medications, then the next question you need to ask is, did they do any research? And is this vaccine that you're giving me, or I'm about to take, or you're recommending to give to me, have any adverse reaction to the medication that I'm on now? And there goes your conversation. That's how you make your judgment. That's how you decide what to do. Is there anything in that? Find out what exactly is in the vaccine. Maybe you're allergic to one of the things that did, maybe not. You know, and then your next question is, well, if I get the COVID-19 shot, am I still susceptible to the Delta? Well, it turns out, yeah. Remember, people, you know, it was a world pandemic. Thank God for Trump and moving this as fast forward as he did and calling in and doing everything. Because remember, your political leaders screwed you. Your political leaders, Republicans and Democrats, shafted you so bad you didn't even feel it when they were shafting you. Okay? We didn't produce any antibiotics that put us behind the 8 ball. All our stuff was made in China. We didn't produce face masks, China. We didn't produce the rebreathers machine, China. We don't even produce our nuclear medicine here. It's everywhere else. And it's been going on for every president going back. Don't blame white presidents, black presidents, Jewish presidents, or whatever you want to call it, okay? Republicans and Democrats knew that them jobs and them studies are sent overseas. So first of all, We know it didn't start here. We know it started as a pandemic. And don't tell me that some bat shitted on somebody and we got COVID. Okay? You know it doesn't happen. If you're stupid enough to think that a bat flew out of somewhere, took a crap, landed on somebody, and all of a sudden everybody got COVID-19, you know what? Go get a shot and just don't worry about it. Because you're too dumb to figure it out. This government has been doing it to you forever. You were ill prepared. You still are. Why are we paying so much for medication? Because we don't make it here. Why did Puppet Trump decide not to pay attention? Now we got the new guy, Puppet Biden. I call them puppets. I love Trump. I think if you put lemons to oranges, you'll be drinking orange juice with Trump. You got lemons, they're probably rotted out, and you can't get one glass of lemon juice out of a whole dozen with Biden. But the bottom line is that both parties, listen to what I'm saying, both parties have screwed you royally because we do not produce the stuff here that we needed to produce. You know what we produced here? A bunch of people needing some kind of government help. When the pandemic hit, we were going nuts trying to find face masks and breathing machines and respiratory machines, etc., because we were ill prepared. How could we have been ill prepared when we dealt with Ebola? How could we, what happened when we had the measles epidemic, polio epidemic, smallpox epidemic, swine flu? Man, they knew this was coming. Every one of them suckers out there, and you vote for them. Every single stupid time you go to that voting booth, you vote because somebody is Democrat or somebody is Republican. In the beginning, you're supposed to vote for who you want to run for your party. And in November, your dumb ass is supposed to vote for who you think is the better candidate between the two. But you're too stupid to pay attention to that. I vote in November, Democrat or Republican, depending on who I think is the better candidate. How's that? That's the way I do it. I voted for Obama the first time. Hell, if I did the second time. But I admit I voted for Obama the first time because I thought it was time. And I thought he had pretty good information and he was doing good. And then he made a fool out of me. I mean, you can't expect anything else when you have politicians in there for 15 years, 20 years, and you do not hold them accountable. Everybody out here that's working, listen to me, the voice, where my voice is going, spread this out. I want you to ask everybody you know who's working. If you say something is done or something's going to be done and I'm going to work on something and you don't, do you get fired? Do they let you go? And the answer is, unless your daddy owns the business, yep, you get walking papers. But if you're a politician and you're in Washington or you're in Harrisburg or you're in one of the city councils, okay, if you're a politician and you say, for the last 5 years, listen to every politician that has been there for 20 years and go back and Google, you pick them. Pick a Democrat and a Republican, you do it. And you go back 15, 20 years and you find out that he says, When I get into Washington and when I get into Congress, the first thing I'm going to do is go fight because Social Security is in trouble. Medication's in trouble. We got to lower down the medication rates. We got to do everything we have to do. They've been telling you the same story, and then you come back and you didn't need him to come to another townhouse meeting. All you had to do was play what he said to you 15, 20 years ago. I'm going to get ready to take a break, and then we're going to go into our next topic. And I hope that information helped you out a little bit. But remember, research, ask doctors, stop voting these clowns in, because everything that's happened to us today is your fault because you let them screw you. Welcome back, everybody, to An Hour with Dave. And I dedicated this segment to answering a few questions. I know we had some technical issues here in USALA, unforeseen, that it just hurt us. And it happens. It happens in this kind of world. USALA is a great little spot. It's moving up. We got a lot to offer. So all of you talented people out there who think you got it, who got businesses, who have educational things to do, who have maybe you want to learn you want to teach people a skill on carpentry, or maybe you want to teach people a skill on cooking, a skill on starting a business, or how did you get started, what's going on. You know, USALA has a place for you. It wants to be there. It wants to help. It's a community-based group. It's a caring-based group, and it has a lot to offer. And the reason it has a lot to offer because it hasn't gotten too big for its bridges. It still could have things go wrong, and it feels it. But I think that if you have something to offer, if you have a lecture, if you want to talk about your heritage, or you feel that you can benefit people by giving them some of your knowledge of, I don't know, how to make some soups, and how to talk about, what did it take you to get here? How about your family getting here? What you traveling was for, how was it that you feel your kids are today as opposed to when you first got here, or when you were at that age of 18, or their grandmother, et cetera. So there's a lot of things that you can do here. A lot of things that you can learn. I think that you retired unions, your carpenters union, your unions that have a sheetrock unions, and et cetera. There's a lot of youth out there, and it's going to play into my next segment, which is how do we deal with the crime, and how do we deal with what's going on? Well, you know what? First thing first, you union people, you need to get up off your ass. USALA will work with anybody who wants to come in and teach kids something. You want to teach kids how to do drywall work so they can get a decent job, maybe get an apprenticeship? This is where you need to be, because they'll do it for you. Okay? They'll facilitate things. If you got a business like a school, pizzeria, how did you start it? You want to come on, USALA will be more than glad to put you out so that you can give the kids something else to look at instead of that drug dealer that's spending $150 on a t-shirt. They're going to teach kids what it is to work, to have a dream, that you can make it. There's a lot of us in the hood that make it. Unfortunately, it's being overshadowed by the crime and the drugs and the hate. The hate. Okay? So here's where I start. I start at the top. City Council, stop trying to pass bullshit bills. Okay? Just stop trying to pass bullshit bills. You know, really think about the people. Stop thinking of ways to get more money, to spend more money, to make them more dependent because you can give them a little more. Don't put the water flow up past their chin so they don't drown, but make sure that that water is right at the bottom of their chin so they can't get out of it. You want to do something about crime and help? Start helping people learn a trade, because you guys get plenty of money. And when it comes to politics, again, politics plays a role in everything that's happening around you. The unions pick who they want to support and put millions of dollars behind, even if that person is the worst decision for you, because that person is going to give them what they want. USALA will not do that. Here at USALA, if you are a retired carpenter or a retired electrician or a retired mechanic and you have your shop, you know what? Come here, talk to the administrative people here, and talk to them about you being able to show kids something. And stop complaining. And stop letting all these unions and all these other places tell you what to do. You want to stop crime and hate? Go to your schools. Go to your schools. Demand a meeting with the principal and with the people involved who have everything to do with your child's educational and curriculum in that school. Because I know a lot of you have not done it in the inner cities. Pay attention to what they're teaching your kids, because it's your stupid ass that ain't doing what you need to do. Pay attention to your kids and what's happening. Okay? Now, let's take it a step further down the line. You church leaders. You church leaders, I find to be sometimes the biggest hypocrites there is. Because I tell you, you see all these little churches with 5 and 6 people in it, 8 people in it, okay? And they jump up and down in the Holy Spirit, and they swear they're doing everything, and they put their nose up, or they go to Sunday school and Sunday morning mass and Sunday morning church session, and then they go home and do totally the opposite of what they were out there preaching that they were going to do. So you want to do something? Open the church doors, because nothing tells you to keep the church doors closed. Take your little chairs outside. Have the service outside. Play games and activities outside. Bring the public to you. And stop acting like you're better than anybody. Because God made everybody in his image, not just you people in church. And here's my other challenge to everyone who says out there that you're a Christian. I'm going to show you how much of a hypocrite the majority of you people that go to church are. Okay? Here's my challenge. I challenge you to take 2 pieces of wood, at least 4 feet high in height and 3 feet wide. And I want you to build the cross and hang it on your porch, on your doorway, or on a pole. If you have an empty lot, build the cross and put it on the empty lot. Okay? Because if you can't do that, you're a hypocrite. If you can't do that, you're a hypocrite. You have to be able to tell people that you're a Christian. And you're not a Christian hiding behind the door. You have empty lots all over the place. They're dumping stuff. Clean out the lot. Stick a big cross on the lot. Said, God loves you. Jesus loves you. Let's make that a challenge here. Let's see how many of you people actually have the cojones to stand up and put a cross on an empty lot. Put a cross on a telephone pole. Let's see how many of you will do it. Okay? You want to stop crime? Start going out there, because every one of you know who's dealing drugs, and every one of you know who's doing what on your block. And every one of you church leaders know everybody else, because it's probably one of your cousins out there in the corner. Okay? That's my challenge. Let's see if you got the guts to build one cross and put it on an empty lot. Come on, you're church people. Clean the lot, put a cross on it. I dare you. Clean it, take a cross, put it on a telephone pole. If you can't do that, you're full of shit and you're a hypocrite. And you ain't a Christian. So take your holier than thou self and go have that beer you want to have. Because that's what you want to do. Because the man died on the cross for you, but you can't clean the lot and hang a cross up so that the drug dealers don't hang on that corner. You are the hypocrite. You don't pay attention to what's going on in school and your kids are learning, you're the hypocrite. They're going to teach your kid that it's okay to jump off a roof because they're going to be safe when they land. And your kid's going to do it because you programmed your kid. They programmed your kid and you allowed it. Because you got food stamps and you got a stimulus check. Okay? That is what I say. Churches, that's my challenge. Get out, clean a lot, put up a cross. And if you can't do that, I don't want to ever hear you criticize and say you're Christian, because you ain't jack shit. We're going to take another break. And we come back. We're going to go on to one more topic, two more topics that I got asked about quite a bit. I hope you understand me being as hard as I am with churches, why I am as hard as I am with churches, because churches here, no matter what race, what religion they are, they have what I call the make-believe Christians. Hello, everyone, and welcome to An Hour with Dave, a straight shooting talk show that doesn't hold anything back. You either love the show, hate the show, love me, hate me, doesn't matter, but it's the show you want to watch. 1 Hour with Dave. All right, welcome back, everybody. I know that I'm kind of getting hard and heavy on some different groups here. But I think that it was time, because I got so many emails and messages and calls and letters with respect to people that knew me at home, with respect to what was going on out there, the reality to it. You know, who's doing what? You know, who's responsible for what? And the reality is, you know, it's and this is why I started the series on the Constitution. It says, we the people. It doesn't say we the government. It says, we the people. Believe it or not, that's your dumbass. You know, and it baffles me when you have people that say it's racism. Okay, let's take this racism joke of yours for now. All right? You say racism. When I seen them kids that died on Lehigh Avenue, on Lawrence Street, that are dying all around the city, all right? They're Hispanics, they're blacks, okay? I'm gonna tell you something. I wanna ask you something real seriously. Do you, I wanna ask you this. Racism, they tell you the white people are doing this to you, right? Okay. How many white people are walking in your neighborhood with KKK suits on, killing your own people? How many white people are in your neighborhood selling drugs? How many white people are in your neighborhood robbing your grocery stores, stealing off your grandmothers, burning your stores down, burning your pharmacies down? How many white people? They ain't none. Stop letting politicians and political people tell you it's racism, okay? And this is the way we're going to fix it. You dumbasses. You burned down all the pharmacies, and then your grandparents couldn't get pharmacy, couldn't get the medication. Yeah, you accomplished a whole lot. You burnt down Germantown and affected the small businessmen. Wow, you accomplished, you hurt white people. Man, you're about as stupid as they come when it comes to that. Where in the world do you figure if you go down these drugs, walk with me for God's sake. Show me what drug corners down here are the white people that are down here. There ain't none. Yeah, you know, we got a couple bad cops. Okay, I grant that. We're going to have bad cops, just like we got bad construction people, bad doctors. You know, it happens. One life lost is too many. But let me ask you something. There was a cop that was shot going home. I want to get all the details on it, but he was shot going home. A cop, young cop. How about, you know, with all the rioting going on, I want to see if anybody could call in and tell me the name of the police officer who was retired, who was killed while protecting the jewelry store. Give you plenty of hands. Protecting the jewelry store, and was killed by the rioters. How many years? And let me tell you something now. That man was African American, retired police, okay, protecting that jewelry store, was killed by African Americans. You're quick to run and say, a white cop shot somebody, Black Lives Matter, Antifa. Okay? What happened to the black kid that was shot 2 years old by another go-by shooting? They were black and Hispanic. Doesn't that child, 2-year-old child's life matter? Or that doesn't matter because it can't get the news? We got to make it somebody white, and we got to make it a cop. Man, you don't understand. They're playing this race card on you. They're playing this race card on you, and you're getting caught up in it. There's no white people out there trying to destroy you. There's plenty of millionaire black people. There's plenty of millionaire Hispanics. They're using you. Philadelphia, wake up. Go to City Hall and find out how many Hispanics work in City Hall. You don't have 5% of the employees in City Hall Hispanic. The white people are keeping you from the jobs. No, because it's not run by white people. You don't have the job because your leaders are not getting them to you. I bet you their nieces, their nephews, and their sons got jobs at City Hall. But your sure don't. When was the last time you looked out through your window and saw a Hispanic picking up the trash? Okay? You don't see them. You know why? Because they ain't there. Our percentage is low. 5%, 10%. But yep, keep getting your food stamps. Keep not going to school and paying attention to what they're teaching your kids, and let them keep making you people dependent on them. It's we the people, not we the government. You need to stop complaining, stop saying it's white people, stop saying it's the system, because you are allowing everything to happen that's happening. Everything when it comes to racism. If racism is you do not have to be white to be racist. You're hearing it with me. You could tell the world, David Torres said that we're all racist. Tell the world, I don't care. I said it to you. You're all racist. If you can say that last week, when 50 or so young kids jumped an old white guy while he was walking his dog and beat him up was not racist, you are dumb son of a... I can't say it because one of the bosses is here, but you're dumb, okay? Because if that was one black person or Hispanic and 50 white people jumped them, you would be screaming racism, and Black Lives Matter and Antifa will be up there with their faces covered, jumping up and down, wanting to burn something. If 50 people jumped that white man, you're racist. Your son was there. He needed to get a foot up his ass. Because it's your fault that your kid is out there. Yours. There's nobody to blame. That is stone cold racism. You jump somebody because they're handicapped, you turn over their wheelchair, you rob them, you rob somebody's mother, you rob as a group. Come on. And only because it happens to one particular Hispanic or color or brown, black and brown, black and purple, purple and brown, blah, blah, blah. Whatever color you want to do, long as it's not white, it's not racism. You sons of bitches are all racist. Every single one of you. I'm telling you, you're all racist. And whoever don't like it, CNN, you don't like that I said it? Tough cookies. You're racist too. The View, no more. They're as racist as it can be, because the only one they want to stick up for are, if it's a black person beat up by white people. But you didn't hear nothing on The View about 50 or so kids that beat up a white man. You didn't hear nothing. You didn't hear nothing about the police officers that have died. When have you heard it? It ain't out there. You don't hear nothing from any of these organizations about how many kids are dying from Hispanic with Hispanic, black with black, black with Hispanic, Hispanic with black on the streets. You don't hear them statistics. You know why? Because it ain't getting you motivated. It ain't giving you a reason to run in and steal sneakers and shoes and burn stores down and knock down statues. You're the stupidest jerk I ever known. You knock down a statue, and then school is not teaching you how slavery went back in the day and how where the Civil War came from, who was on what side or the other side. They're not teaching you none of this. They knock it down, they erase history, and then they get to repeat it again. That's really what they're doing. They're controlling your dumb ass. Okay? Because here's what's happening. Here's how it works. Okay? You had, back in the day, we've made mistakes. This country has made mistakes. It has. It's not perfect. There's a lot of jerks in here. But you got jerks in Washington and in Harrisburg and in City Hall for 40 years. And you keep voting them in. So you're the biggest jerk. Pelosi, the only thing keeping her from a frown dropping is that makeup load that she got. Okay? You just don't get it. Both sides, Democrat and Republican. Mitch McConnell, he's in the Senate for a place that he doesn't live in. And he keeps getting voted in. How stupid are you? Start looking at who, the president, Puppet Biden, okay? Puppet Biden, okay? The one, not the one we elected, the one that they put in office, okay? Because we didn't elect him, okay? He was put there. Why can't we just give him a trophy and a plaque and let him go home and get this country running right? Does anybody realize we're at $28 trillion debt? Anybody? $28 trillion debt. And this is not only because of him, it goes back to other presidents. $28 trillion debt. We were independent with oil. Well, I'm going to get that on when I get to the economy piece. But listen, guys, the reality is we, the people, need to take control of it. Both sides are screwing you. They're playing games. Okay? You sent them to do a job, and then they go in. You got a bunch of people from Texas don't want to do their jobs and vote, so that laws can't be passed. So they leave, and they stay in Washington. You got AOC who swears that she swore they were going to kill me. Oh, they were nowhere near her. Okay? Remember when she stood at the fence and cried and went on her knees and drinking out of the toilet? She ain't been down there again, has she? You know why she ain't down there on her knees and crying and saying that they're drinking out of toilets? Because it's a Democratic president. That's why she isn't down there now. Why isn't Maxine Waters standing in front of Walmart talking about, if you see them, don't let them in? Because now is a Democratic president. The borders was a crisis. Now we got 100,000, 20,000 immigrants coming across the border a month. But it's not a crisis. Some of them, now they're being shipped and put up at hotels, but it's not a crisis. They're given credit cards, but it's not a crisis. They're letting them go, and they're going to be coming to, you got Chicago, where they arrested 90 people, some of them for murder. This is told by the chief of police of Chicago. 90 of them, some of them for murder, and they sent them home with ankle bracelets. Do you really think if they committed the murder, they're going to go back in front of the judge? Man, if you think that, I'm telling you, I got the richest way of you getting rich you could ever think of. We're going to take another break for our last segment. And I hope I'm not ragging on you too much. But it ain't my fault you don't listen. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Again, you're on an hour with Dave, and I just had one of the managers run in and give me some water. That was great. An hour with Dave, and so I guess what I'm trying to tell everybody is the importance of your vote, the importance of you getting involved. Stop waiting for somebody to come in from Washington and somebody on a horse saying, the answer's coming, because that's not going to happen. Okay? We've lost a lot. We've lost a lot in this country. We can't go backwards. We can't shut down countries in our country anymore. We got to get some serious answers. We got to get our business. There's so much work out there, so many people hiring, and we can't get people to work. We were independent. Damn it, we were independent of oil and gas. And Puppet Biden came in and shut down the oil and gas services. Now, you not only lost good jobs, but now we're going to buy oil and our oil rates are going up. Gasoline prices are going up. Come on, people. We got to get it together. Look at your neighbor, knock on your neighbor's door, call on your cousins, call on your sisters, call on everybody. Say, listen, man, we got to have town hall meetings. We got to put the issues on the table. We got to stop thinking Republican and Democrat. You know what? Maybe it's time, and I keep saying it, it's time to end the two-party system. Because they have a monopoly over all of us. The two-party system is not working for us anymore because they have too much control. Two-party system has to end, and we need to open it up where you think about this, okay? If you had an idea and you were a party and you come in and you say, I have an idea on how to end the constant money problems and the expense of the housing department, just one, okay? But if you're an independent, you have to wait till the Democrats and Republicans get signatures, get all their people on the ballot, get everything lined up, convince the zombies how they're going to vote, and then the independents come in and they're allowed to get their petition. But let's get this. If they needed to get 500 Republican signatures and 700 Republican signatures and 700 Democratic signatures, in order for that independent to become a valid person on the ballot, you ready? You have to do at least double to triple the amount, if not more, of signatures to get on the ballot. And all the regulations that they get hit with. So that, who knows where the next Martin Luther King's at? Who knows where the next astronaut is at, scientist is at? Who knows where the next great idea is? Like I say, I have a plan that I would like to put together. I won't give it to the Republicans or the Democrats because they'll put it in a drawer. When the Republicans are in office, the Democrats have, hopefully, if somebody in the Democrats have a decent plan, they stick it in the drawer. And then when the Democrats are in control, and when the Democratic president, they have a good idea, they stick it in the drawer. And you never know about it. There's no accountability nowhere in the government, nowhere. No accountability. They all took an oath. It's America first. They took an oath to protect the Constitution, protect the American people, protect them, against certain things. They did. Honest to God, they took an oath. And then they went home and they had a drink and they said, well, screw you, because they're not going to pay attention anymore. You need reform. You're damn right you need reform, because we got guys in prison for dealing marijuana, but yet you got states where marijuana is legal. It doesn't make any sense. How do you have marijuana legal and you have people in jail who were dealing marijuana? It doesn't work. Okay? Now here's the issue. If I have a friend, I'm gonna use my friend Pastor Phil. And we call him Pastor Phil, and he's really is a pastor, by the way. I'm not. And don't ask me to say the name of the church, because it's Divinity of the Universe or something. Okay? I'm not, it's in there. It's in there. But anyway, take all that aside. Let's say Pastor Phil was a pastor who believed in marijuana is the harmony to heaven. Okay? And his church practices smoking marijuana. And they get locked up. Okay? Yet, in another place, in another state, marijuana is legal. So how in the world do you lock somebody up for using something and then other people go free because they can buy it with the access card? Isn't that a bitch? Because in these states that are legal states to have marijuana. And by the way, Pastor Phil does not believe in it. I was just using him as an example, okay? The dude straight up. I'm just doing it because I can get away with doing it. So none of you try to do that to him. But did you know that the states where marijuana is legal, you could go in with your access card, your cash, and purchase marijuana? Purchase marijuana with your access card. The cash that's in your access card allows you to purchase marijuana. How's that? So you get paid tax money. You don't have to work, and you go in and buy all kinds of marijuana. I don't know about you guys, but damn, that's a weird deal. So we need work reform. I also have some people that I want to bring on for the next week, where they're doing good. People that I know that have been straight for now sober and straight for 3, 4, 5 years and more. And they had, to make reciprocity or whatever for their things and court fees and everything else. And these people are trying to survive. And the system is almost trying to get them to screw up. Because if you're trying to survive and you're doing good for 3 to 5 years and you're doing the reciprocity, man, that should be coming down. Like when you pay your mortgage and you make an extra payment ahead of time, how your interest rate goes down. But that should be the same thing. Every year you celebrated that you got sober and you did right and you paid your bills and you try to make your reciprocity to the government, damn it should get dropped. And after a certain amount of time, you do enough courses and you get everything done, you should be dropped. You should be ignored. It should be erased. Let the person move ahead. Stop trying to hope that 3 days before they offer their parole or probation that they screw up so you can get it started all over again and get another paycheck. The system is set up for you to fail, for you to be independent. If you want to be independent, you don't want to be caught up in this system. This system is not about you being independent. The system is about you being dependent. The system is about how do you have housing? You realize you have housing and you have a family in there, and then the parent dies and the kids are now in 20s, 30s, 40s. Well, them kids become the main person in that housing, and their grandkids, and you're paying for it. You're doing the repairs, you're doing the taking care. Well, damn it, if they did right and they passed certain courses and they passed certain things that they needed to do, give them the damn house. It's cheaper. And let's use that money to build something else for other people. Don't maintain them for 3 or 4 generations in the same system. You're making them dependent. As long as they can keep you dependent, you're never going to be able to be free. This system is a form of slavery. Okay, now listen, I have got to go because my hour is up and I can keep ragging on what's happening here in the government. But I need to hear this real clear. Hunter Biden. Yep, Hunter Biden. Not your daddy, you know, the artist, the artist or whatever else you want to call yourself, the writer, the painter, whatever. Hunter Biden. Donald Trump Jr. Not your daddy, Donald Trump Jr. I'm challenging both of you. 2 different spectrums of life. You got one with a golden spoon who can do anything he wants and never get prosecuted. And you got one with a golden spoon that if he slips wrong, goes to jail. Okay? My challenge is this. 1 hour, both of you on my show to have a debate on life and what's going on in this country today. We're going to talk about drug issues. We're going to talk about economy. We're going to talk about education. You too, not your daddies. So don't come in here with the little notes like your daddy has, Hunter, in his jacket. Hopefully it's not the missile codes to launch our missiles. And not Trump, who can sit here, and we know Trump can nail you in any topic you come up with. It's Junior against Junior. 1 hour on my show. Do you have the balls to do it? All right, my people, I love you. Take care. If you get a chance, spread that piece on your web pages. Send it out so that Hunter and Biden and Trump Jr. can get to see if they have the balls to come on. Okay? I'm even going to set a date next month to see if any of them have the guts to come on. How about that? Take care. I think I'm done. Love you guys. Yep, I'm done. Peace.